Fight! Ready? Fight! Ready? Fight! Ready? Fight! Ready? Fight! Ready? Fight! Think again. Ready? Fight! Ready? Fight! Ready? Fight! Now die! Know the might of legend. That is the power of a Belmont. again. Think again. Think again. Ready? Fight! Ready? Fight! Not enough! Not enough! Ready? Good. Good. Ready? Fight! How's that? Ready? Fight! Away with you! Take that now! Take that now! Ready? Fight! Think again. Nice. Ready? Fight! Away with you! You're mine! You're mine! You're mine! Take this! Now! Nice! Ready? Fight! You're mine! Away with you! Got you! Ready? Fight! Good. Think again. Ready? Fight! Take this! Now! Take this! Now! Away with you! Nice! I can't believe it.
Underestimate me and pay the price.
on time. Welcome to the Time Rift.
A time rift. I see.
This is where you'll find what you desire. But first, there are many trials you must pass.
What I desire. Then I shall make short work of your tests.
My name is Aeon. Shall we begin the first trial?
Ready? Fight!
I'm over here.
Try this. Pathetic.
Beg your pardon? Time to win and a time to lose.
You underestimated me. Did you think me a child?
The road is now open. Search for that which you long for.
Fight me as you would a grown man. I do not want your mercy.
You ain't seen one quick as me before.
Ready?
Really? Take this! Pathetic. Try this. Try this.
Really?
Take this! Pathetic.
KO!
Already over? Well, that didn't amount to much. Fight me as you would a grown man. I do not want your mercy.
Fighting bad, but now must fight.
Ready? Fight!
Take this! How's this? Try this. You're open! You're open!
Okay.
Take this! Take
Me want to live. Why you stop me?
Ready? Fight!
How's
Got you.
Try this.
Me get. Me okay.
Take this.
Me got. Got you.
Ring out!
Me not want to fight. Do not want.
Witness the might of the Alucard spear.
Fighting bad, but now must fight.
Ready? Fight!
You no good. Me guts.
How's this? Already over? Well, that didn't amount to much.
That lance. It has been ages. Are you of House Lacard?
It was you who entrusted my family with this spear.
Quite. And the Morris clan, how fare they?
I've been thinking, so long as I have this lance, who needs their whip?
The spear is a tool to complement the power of the whip, nothing more.
Your creation, and yet even you underestimate its power. I will prove it to you.
Ready?
What are you thinking?
Where are you looking?
No escape! Take this!
What? KO!
Now, do you respect the spear? Or perhaps, it is I you now respect. Witness the might of the Alucard spear.
One day man shall look to dawn, without need to fear the darkness.
Ready? Fight!
It's futile. Not enough. It's futile. It's futile. It's futile. Take this. Mine. Mine. The single
KO!
Thank you. It's been illuminating.
Ready? Fight!
No way! It's futile. It's futile. Not enough. It's futile. It's futile. Not enough.
Right here.
It's futile.
What are you thinking?
It's futile. It's futile.
Pathetic.
KO!
Thank you. It's been illuminating.
Ready? Fight!
It's you. It's been illuminating.
Ready? Fight!
That will work. Take it. What are you thinking? Already over? Well, that didn't amount to much. Fight me as you would a grown man. I do not want your mercy.
Ready? Fight!
Right here. Right here. Try this. Escape. Try Already over? Well, that didn't amount to much. That whip. You must be a Belmont.
That I am. But you would do well to watch your tone, young man.
You think just because you're older, you're better than me?
Charming. Seems you could use a little lesson on manners.
Sounds like fun. And I'll teach you that your precious whip isn't half the weapon you take it for.
Ready? Fight!
How's this? Try this.
Think again. I can't believe it.
As expected, even the House of the Whip can be toppled by my lance. Fight me as you would a grown man. I do not want your mercy.
Witness the power of the Belmont clan.
Ready? Fight! Away with you!
Good.
Fight me as you would a grown man. I do not want your mercy.
I will enjoy your cries of agony.
Ready?
Pathetic.
Ring out!
I love playing with my food before dinner.
Fight me as you would a grown man. I do not want your mercy.
Do you honestly believe you can defeat me?
Ready? Fight!
Try this. Here it is. Over here.
Ring out!
Don't worry, you'll come to enjoy this.
Ready? Fight!
Try this.
Not bad.
KO!
You underestimated me. Did you think me a child? Wow, a huge lance! The power to control animals. Could it be Maria Renard? That's me, but who are you? I am Eric Lacard. I can't believe it's really you. Ew! Quit staring at me like that, creep. Show me the power said to surpass even that of a Belmont.
Ready? Fight!
Now I'm certain. I needn't fear even Dracula himself.
I accept the Soul Key. 7 yet remain.
One of these days, I'm not gonna make myself look like an idiot by coming on without my microphone. Some days, I really wonder why I do this. The mic doesn't work half the time. I'm not particularly good at video games. It's just been a day. Yeah, I was saying stuff. There was probably some important things there. I guess it's a good thing that I've not been really giving commentary here this whole time, because I was, my mom was, like, worried that my mic was picking her up, and turns out it probably wasn't, because it wasn't on this whole time. I've only been, let's see, streaming for, yeah, about an hour so far, and I haven't had my mic on the whole time. Well, my mood was uplifting because I was, thanks for telling me at least. This is exactly why I need to have viewers, is because otherwise I don't know if my mic's working. So if no one's watching and can tell me my mic's not working, then I don't know. And then I look like an idiot for an hour, where I'm speaking but there's no audio. Anyway, I'm not putting this on you, but like I said, the reason I'm on here today is because it's been, brain tired day. It's been a rough, few days. We've had a lot of pollen in the last week or so. So, you know, it means that you're just generally feeling sick. We get bad, I think it's oak or something like that pollen around here, but so it's been a rough few days for a lot of people in my family, so it's, you know, it just means the vibes sometimes feel just kind of sad or down. So, you know, we've been tired today. She went home early because, one of the kids we look for was sick, and, you know, I was very tired today, so I was like, I don't really want to stream, but then I was looking at my Twitch feed and being like, it's been 6 days since I last streamed. That's practically a week at this point. You know, I used to stream 3 or 4 times a week. Where have we gotten to a point where it's a struggle to stream on the one day that I say I'm going to stream? I even thought of it earlier today that I'm going to play Castlevania Judgment. I'm going to keep playing on this game because I need to keep going so I can unlock my favorite character in this game, who's the last character to unlock. I have to beat every other story mode in order to unlock him. And, you know, even just getting on the computer today was hard. Getting the computer set up, and I had to get I did figure out why I'm having streaming issues. My dad came up here, so I thank him for that. But my dad came up here and updated, apparently my graphics card needed an update, the computer needed an update. He also got, you know, added storage on my PS5, so it runs better. And then, you know, it seems like as soon as you get the thing working again, it needs updates or needs something or another, so that, you know, because apparently my footage was glitching. There's this weird update on Prism lately where every time I open the program I have to re-sign into my YouTube account because I stream this across Twitch and YouTube. And it's just again, I say it before and I say it again, this is why people have managers, this is why people hire editors, this is why you have someone else to do this, in case you don't know how to do it. And just every time, it gets a little bit harder to keep doing this, let me tell you. Anyway, let's do Golem's Path. Oh no, that looks nice. We're gonna do it in that color.
Me fight now.
That's a nice coloration right there. Get the black and red up in here. Anyway, I'm gonna continue to whine and complain as I play this fighting game, so. This probably be the good time for my mic to not be working, right? Some people also wondered why, they didn't have more, iconic Castlevania characters instead of random characters like Carmilla and Golem that are just monsters. And, the whole point was that they wanted to bring both villains and, heroes in this game. And they wanted to get a variety of playstyles. So, you know, I kind of understand why they included some of them. Just to give, some different variety of the type of characters you can play, and also because they can't all be humans.
Right on time. Welcome to the Time Rift.
Why me here?
This place has granted you self-awareness. Surely there is something you wish to know.
Why me live?
My name is Aeon. Shall we begin the first trial?
Also, I did actually do the tutorial, so I'm not just button mashing now. I do understand why I was struggling so much before. I realized why I was not doing the charge attacks right. Like, you actually have to hold the A button while doing the charge attacks, which I did not realize. This guy's a little harder to do, just because his attacks are very powerful, but they are very slow. But they also are very hard to guard against, because they're just hit really hard. Love that one. That one's fun. He also just has, like, a large, like, hitbox because, you know, big guy.
Me want to live. Why you stop me?
So yeah, I actually realized there was a tutorial mode.
Search for that.
Should have probably been playing that like 5 story modes ago, but you know, now I understand why I couldn't get the special moves to work. Because I'm like, I know I played this game on our original channel, and I actually got it to where I was decently okay with the controls. Like, why am I struggling so much? I'm like, oh, alright. Here's why. Really, we're gonna start with Shinoa? I was... No one could hear it because, again, my microphone was off, but... Every story mode has her, and she's the most broken character in this game. Like, it's... Like, I've seen, like, top 10 lists about, like, the fighters in this game, as, you know, as niche as this game is. There are some people who make fighter, like, rankings for this game, and every single one of them puts Shinoa at the top, because she's just kind of a busted character compared to everyone else in this roster. Like, she has a very fast attack string, she's both good at mid-range and at long range. Even her dodge is like an attack. Like, she's just a very well-rounded character, and honestly just so much more, like, versatile than any other character in this roster, so... The fact that you have to, like, fight her as a boss in practically every story mode is just kind of annoying. See, she has that attack string with the swords. She can just, like, hit, and you can't... It's a little easier with him, at least, because he's harder to break his attack strings because he's big and heavy, but, like, I've struggled so much fighting her in the other, like, 4 modes I fought her in, but, like, I was just talking about in Eric's Pathway, I'm like, why do you have to fight her in, like, every character's story? She's so strong. I mean, I do like the idea of, like, one of the monsters gaining a consciousness. Like, again, like, some people are like, why aren't there certain, like, you know, other Belmonts in this game? I'm like, well, because otherwise it'd be kind of the same problem that they complain about in Smash, where there are, like, too many sword fighters or stuff like that, you know? Whereas, like, you really want just, like, 6 guys with a whip, you know? Yeah, we could do a lot of other, like, Belmonts, but I'm like, I think they did a good job of getting, like, a variety of characters with different weapon types and different movement types. Okay, that's getting annoying. Again, I just need to get my attack string off here. Maria's also kind of annoying, but that's more just because, like, that's what she's built to do, and just... she annoys me as well, but she's not as annoying as Shinoa is. She more annoys me by the nature of her being, like, a magical girl, and I just personally find those type of characters annoying, so... Let's do this. So I kind of like the fact that they have... And also, if you're going to put villains in a Castlevania game, who else do you have to choose besides Dracula? So I'm not kind of... Like, the fact they go and have, like, Carmilla and Golem here, I'm like, who else do you have to choose besides Dracula? That's, like, the only main, like, villain in Castlevania that isn't just a straight-up monster. So I kind of like the fact that they're like, oh yeah, we got Golem here as in, like, a basic monster that gained awareness and consciousness. That's pretty cool. Carmilla, people are like, why did they put her in there? She's just like a moon. I'm like, I know, but she's also the second most, like, popular vampire that, like, exists in, like, Gothic literature. Like, I think she even predates Dracula, technically speaking. Dracula wasn't the first vampire, mind you. He's just the most the one people know the best. The first vampire story was actually just called The Vampire, with vampire as in P-Y-R-E, like pyre, like funeral pyre. Very gay, let me tell you that. The first person that vampire is going after is actually a dude. Like, he preys on women, but the main, like, character that he's, like, manipulating and, like, hypnotizing, stuff like that, is a guy. It's kind of funny, actually. But, vampires have always been gay. But I think Carmilla actually becomes before Dracula, or if she doesn't, she comes like very closely after, and starts the okay, girl, if you could stop hitting me with that fire thing, I would really appreciate it. But like, she like starts the whole lesbian vampire trope, and it literally Carmilla works much like a female Dracula. Got him. And I had like practically no HP left. That makes the win cooler. But yeah, Carmilla works very similarly, and if honestly you read the book about Carmilla, it's like it's literally just like female empowerment. That's what she's like, female sexuality and female empowerment. That's what her whole story is about.
Yes, I am human. What you see is the result of an ancient curse.
Love this guy's design.
Curse make human beast. Curse make me human? I've not heard of such a thing. Liar. Lying bad. Curse good. Tell me. Good. You mock my suffering.
Love Cornell's design. Don't know where he's from, but like his design is cool. He looks like he looks kind of like a Digimon. And I mean that in a good way. Like I've always liked Digimon. I just wish it had better games. Like one of my favorite RPGs of all times in terms of monster catchers is Digimon Cyber Sleuth. Great story mode, so much content. The Digimon raising system is actually more fun than it has been in like previous games. I enjoyed the DS games as well, but like I always liked Digimon's designs. It's just a pity they just had trouble getting into the games market. Because a lot of people think they're like Pokemon. I'm like, the only thing that's similar between Pokemon and Digimon is their names. Otherwise, they could not be more further apart. Digimon is way more close to like, you know, a lot of like, you know, is a lot closer to like a lot of your darker animes, honestly. I didn't know what about I talked about a lot of things, so what did you not know? The thing about Carmilla or the thing about Digimon? I'm jumping topics, so. Love the red and black, by the way. Like, if all Castlevania had this art style and these color schemes, I probably would have played the games growing up. Because I really love this art style. Even though apparently it, like, all of Castlevania fans hated it. But I'm like, I don't really get the deal. Like, I get some characters might be what you considered over-designed, but I'm also like, it's a fighting game. Who's really paying attention to the outfits? Like, shouldn't you just be playing it for, like, the fighting game-ness of it? But I'm like, even then, Castlevania's, like, always been, like, it's a gothic game. Like, I utterly ignored it in its heyday because, like, most of the Castlevania games I saw at the time were, like, very, like, caveman, He-Man sort of vibes, and I absolutely hate that. I don't like that in the early Fire Emblem games, despite me loving that series, and I definitely didn't like them in Castlevania. The only one that I ever was vaguely interested in was Symphony of the Night, because I saw the cover, and I'm like, that's a really pretty art style. I love the gothic vibes here. And then Castlevania went back to having a more anime art style, and I wasn't interested in it anymore, but I'm like, if it stuck with the very gothic roots it has in, like, the very middle of its existence, I would have probably tried it. Besides this game. Obviously, this is the first game and only game I've ever played in the series, so therefore it's the one that I love the most. I looked him up, and he is from one of the Nintendo 64 games. He looks a little generic in his original design. Yeah, I do know Cornell's from a 3D game, so yeah, that would make sense. Honestly, that's the thing I kind of think about with this game, is that a lot of people don't like a lot of people either don't like the redesigns or are okay with the redesigns. And I think the real big difference is if you had any sort of perception going in. That's why I'm like, I think there's a lot of people who do enjoy this game, but there are people who had no, like, expectations going in. Like, you know, me. I'm not a Castlevania fan. I know the basics of it. I know enough from, like, video game osmosis, and I watched the Netflix series, but, like, when I first played this game, I had no, like, knowledge of it going in. So I look at the designs and I'm like, these are really cool. So I'm like, and also, like, when, like, some characters I can get behind if you're, like, someone who's, like, you think this character's over-designed, but in terms of, like, this character doesn't look right, I'm like, let's be honest here. This game is about, like, the forces of good and evil trying to stop, like, a vampire. and the original characters look like cavemen, you know, like Conan Barbarian sort of vibes. I'm like, how much dignity did this game originally have? You know, like, the DS games definitely got their own style with, what's it? I don't remember the lady's name, but the person who was the artist for Symphony of the Night and the 3 that followed afterwards. I know there's the Ecclesia one is the one Shinoa's from. I'm like, how much style did these games realistically have at any given point? Like, after the Order of Ecclesia games, apparently they went to having a very, like, kind of 90s anime style. And even though the games I heard were good, like, the art style's constantly been in flux in this series, which is not a bad thing. I don't discount them for that. I think that experimentation is good. In fact, it's kind of a pity nowadays in video games because there's so much focus on making the money back, that game designers don't want to experiment anymore. Like, you know, a game like this would never get made today. Like, a series taking a risk and trying a fighting game with a new art style. Come on. I'm like, ring out. I know you're really close to the edge. Trying to knock him outside the ring. I'm like, I know you're really close to the edge. But, like, a game like this would never get made today because with the exception of indie game developers or small companies, like, games, like, for franchises don't happen like this anymore. Like, back in the day, like, Nintendo DS games and all the Pokemon spin-offs that, like, Pokemon Ranger, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you know, like, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, one of my favorite games on, let me put this, my favorite game on the Nintendo Wii, because there's, like, nothing on the Nintendo Wii, but then, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp Encore, I believe we played on our old, channel. Pretty sure we played it on our own channel, at least. But we played that game for a while. That's a game that wouldn't get made today, you know? And honestly, the funny thing was that a lot of people gave that game flack for, like, essentially no reason. He does have a really nice dodge, though. Because he rolls up, that does give him, like, a faster way to move. I do the little electric move. There we go. Okay. But, like, you know, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, I'm so glad it got a remastered edition in Sharp FE for the Switch, because that was a good game that no one gave a chance, because they were looking at Shin Megami Tensei and the Fire Emblem developers were teaming up, and they want something like...
Imbecile. You're a pile of metal and meat. You could never be human.
But Mama say me can be human.
Enough of your nonsense. I will silence you forever.
Also, the voice acting in this game is honestly way better than the majority of the series. Like, I've heard clips of it. Like, this game's oddly, like, polished in weird places. Like, I do really like the art style. And I do like the voice acting. Like, it's good voice acting for, again, a fighting game. Like, this game's going oddly hard in strange areas. Like, it may not be the most complicated fighting game. It's not like your typical 8-button scheme, which I don't like those kind of games anyway. Like, I'm not good at fighting games. I'm about as good at fighting games as I am at platformers. So if there's any ones that are, like, designated, like, special, like, this is for fans of those genres, then I actually struggle with them because then, like, I cannot figure out, like, the fast characters are just a real struggle to use with him because I can't get my attack strings off, then I have issues. Okay, I was trying not to fall into the thing of poison, but I didn't. Anyway, I think it started with Rondo of Blood because in some campy anime cutscene, and then Symphony in the Night started the gothic anime aesthetic. Yeah, Rondo of Blood, isn't that the one that starts... I think that's the one that comes after this game. I think. Remember Rondo of Swords was a DS game? That was supposed to, like, was trying to mimic Fire Emblem. I tried it once, and I just could not figure out how to do the attacks. I tried to like it. Yeah, Symphony of the Night was the DS one. It, like, Castlevania has had to, like, reboot itself, like, 3 times. Which is not a bad thing, again. Sonic does the same thing. It's why the game endures now. It's like, it's really a matter of, like, the bigger issue is if the games, like, if people don't, like, again, some gamers can be snobs sometimes, and, you know, so, like, having a game fail just because you don't like the art style, like, I have different points in Fire Emblem's history where I care for the art style or I don't care for the art style, but still, generally, I try the game because at the end of the day, it's the gameplay. So, like, if you didn't like this fighting game, that's fine. Also, the fact that a lot of people say that this is, like, is the worst game in the series, I'm like, well, this is a spin-off game. This doesn't count. Like, spin-off games never count in a franchise's, like, good versus bad catalog. You only count the ones that do the same core gameplay. Like that, like, I was talking about Tokyo Mirage Sessions again, like, a minute ago, and, like, the whole thing with Tokyo Mirage Sessions is that, like, again, people were expecting, I don't know, maybe some Dark Demon stuff, because it was supposed to be Shin Megami Tensei's developers and Fire Emblem, but, like, we got Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is a really fun game, and if you're willing to give it a chance, it has quite a unique battle system with its sessions, and it's 3-on-3 combat, because it kind of combines the, like, weapon triangle of Fire Emblem, but also, like, the elemental system of Persona, but also its session system of follow-up attacks is really quite interesting, and you can really get some cool strings going when you get to higher levels. Come on. Dodge, my dude. Dodge. Come on, come on. Okay, I was close that time.
Must have had a screw loose.
I was actually pretty close that time. But, But the thing is that some people started hating on Tokyo Mirage Sessions just because they're like, I don't like J-pop. I don't like this colorful aesthetic. I'm like, then this game is not for you. Like, don't go into a game that's not your style and then say this game sucks. Like, you have to meet the game on its own terms. It's like reading a book that you're like, I hate horror, so I'm going to hate on this horror book. I'm like, well, then don't read a horror book. I mean, I don't play horror games because I don't tend to like them. You know, so, like, but I'm not going to go and say, like, I hate Silent Hill because I hate horror games. I'm like, no, from what I hear, it's a good horror game if you are someone who likes horror games. Same thing with platformers. I'm not good at platformers. Man, she just nailed me there. I'm not good at platformers, but I don't go, like, criticizing Ori and the Blind Forest or you know, Hollow Knight, or even Mario, like, Odyssey. I did enjoy Mario Odyssey for what I did play of it. I just got bored after a while because I'm not a big fan of, like, platformers. We played through all of Hat in Time. I really enjoyed the whimsy of that game. But, like, I'm not going to criticize it because of what it is and trying to be something else, but, like, that was the biggest thing that annoyed me at the time was when everyone hated on, back when it first came out during, like, the Wii U's era, is when everyone was going and, like, hating on, I hate when my apps do this, was hating on Tokyo Mirage Sessions, because, like, I don't like this, you know, colorful, J-poppy, you know, thing, because it's about being a J-pop idol, essentially, you know, and it's much closer to Persona than it is to Shin Megami Tensei, and even then, it's very colorful and bright, but, like, it's like a Persona Light game, like, it has a very similar, like, time-based theming, but without the actual calendar. So it has, like, social events, and you're trying to get job in the J-pop industry, but it also has, like, palaces where you can go and fight shadow-like creatures, and, like, it actually plays a lot but, like, Persona 3 or 4 in a lot of ways. Like, Tokyo Mirage Sessions and the game Catherine, if you know those, were kind of, like, dry runs for Persona 5, which was still in development at the time. Because if you look at those two games, there's a lot of elements in those games that go into making essentially Persona 5 what it is. Which is, you know, one of my 10 out of 10 must-play games. At least if you're someone who likes, you know, is okay with turn-based combat or you know, JRPG and stuff like that. Like, people go and, like, look at Persona 5 and be like, that's such a high, like like, it's such a long game to complete. I'm like, yeah, and if you don't have the time for it, that's fair, but also be aware that, like, some people play hours and hours of, like, time on Fortnite, and I can't imagine that because I never played a game that long. Like, that, you know, like, I'm not even one for multiplayer games. It's just hard to get close to her because she keeps yanking me and I fall. Alright, I'm gonna pause this topic for a moment. I'm gonna have to try and focus on this guy, on this one. Let me see if I can get her. Music in this game, though. Music in this game is awesome. The voice acting's honestly better than it has any right to be. I like the settings, and I like the character design. Like, I don't have any, like... Can you stop juggling me, lady? That'd be nice. Okay, I got hit by the zombies that time. I didn't get killed by her. It's even worse getting killed by the stage hazards. See, I'm getting hit by the zombies right now. Again, I just have trouble trying to... I swear, if I get killed by a zombie again... Again, I was like, either she's gonna kill me or that random zombie behind me is gonna hit me. Okay, starting off the match strong. Love that. She just has a much faster attack string than I do, so I'm just struggling a little bit here. Okay, if those random zombies could stop hitting me, that would be really nice. Look, I'm being hit by the zombies. I'm not even being hit by her. She just juggles me, which unfortunately is the thing this character is very good at, is that she's good at juggling. So I'm like, I just have issues getting out of the air. I like the designs too, reminds me of more... Yeah, I've heard, like, Soul Calibur I've heard of as well. That's another game that I debated playing at some point just because I thought the designs were cool. But again, I'm not great at fighting games. I, like, tried it in a store once. I'm like, I am not good at this game. I was just never one for, like, button combos and stuff like that. Like, that's why I like turn-based strategy, because I can, like, really think through my actions. I'm more strategic mind than anything else. If you could stop doing that, I would really appreciate it. Okay. Okay. You're so close to being dead. And she still killed me anyway. This is just getting annoying. The issue is that, like, I'm having trouble, like, canceling out my attack because this guy just moves very slow. But I'll do all this for my guy. I'm doing all this for Aeon. That's the other reason I own this game. Even though I own literally no other Castlevania game. I saw the opening of this game, realized I'm absolutely in love with the guy in the opening, and I'm like... Alright, I'll buy it off of eBay. Never played this game before, definitely didn't play it when it came out, but I saw someone use this game's opening and they're like YouTube, like gamer, like, you know how like YouTube gamers will use like clips of openings for like their things. And so I was like, I saw the opening of this, someone like reviewed it or something, or they did like a top 10 list. I'm like, I saw the opening that has, like, you know, Aeon in it, and I'm just like, I love absolutely everything about this character, and... Okay, the zombies, if you could stop, that would be really nice. Okay, she died. She was like one hit from dying that time. But anyway, so like, I went and bought this game for like $18 off of eBay. With no knowledge of Castlevania, with the knowledge that I suck at fighting video games, just so I could play the character I saw in the opening, because I was like, yes, give me a time traveler guy with a gothic look and like white black color scheme with a giant watch weapon. That is like, I've said before, like, Malian said it before when we've on stream, like, you know, some like people she would love to cosplay, and like we've already mentioned before that we would love to be this. Okay, the zombies broke up my attack string that time. The stage hatters on this level are really starting to annoy me. It's because those zombies keep breaking my attack strings. But like Malian said before, like her like dream thing to do is like to do like Wallace from Pokemon Oraz. And like we've stated before that we want to do the Subway Masters. At some point, you know, because we could, you know, have matching outfits, and we could definitely pull off the twin thing, I think. Just because, you know, we both think that'd be a fun thing. We're kind of like the two of them, too. Okay. Rude. How did she get behind me? Come on, do the forward one. Okay, I can't even get up quick enough to attack. He definitely has the best dodge. Because it's a really... gives him really nice mobility. Can I help? Again, those zombies are really starting to annoy me. But anyway, so... we would love to do the Subway Masters as the first one we do if we ever did a cosplay, but... Malian stated before that, like one of the characters, like, that she's always wanted to do is, like, Wallace from Pokemon Oraz, or lately, Neuvillette from Genshin Impact, and I'm like, yeah, who wouldn't want to be Neuvillette from Genshin Impact? He's, like, one of, like, the most, like, dripped-out characters ever. Like, he has, like, a very good design. Not sure what the heck happened to the people who were doing his designs, because now you're looking at the current Notling characters and being like, okay, there's, like, no design cohesion going on here, besides... I guess kind of Jurassic World theming. Like, okay, zombies? Really? I got killed by the zombies again? At least as I'm getting killed by her, I don't feel as bad, but I'm getting freaking killed by the zombies. That just feels cheap. I'm not even really dying from her, it's because I keep getting hit by those zombies. Like, I was just dying from her, I was dying from ring outs, I almost wouldn't be as bothered, but I'm like... Come on. Come on. Give me that headbutt. Oof. Okay, can you stop doing that? Really, she used the little time stop thing? That's just cheap. And she killed me while I was down. Alright. I'm gonna take a moment to massage my thumb. Anyway, so the whole point being is that, like, why am I going through this in the first place? And so, like, my, like, ideal, like, thing I would love to do as a cosplay is I would love to cosplay Aeon from this game. Unfortunately, he only exists in this game. He's the one original character that comes from Castlevania Judgment, and he never appears at any other point in Castlevania canon. Which, again, makes sense. He's a time traveler, but, like, sucks, because I'm like, this is the one character that I feel like you could put into the later on Castlevania games, and he probably would fit, even if he's of a different art style, because he's actually not terribly over-designed compared to some of the other characters. So, yeah. That's the character I love in this game. Literally has, like, everything I love about a character, especially, like, time-themed characters. You know, like, I based, for those who were in my D&D campaign, I based the original versions of the conductors off of him, back when, at least when the conductor was a player character and he was only one character. Later on, when he became two characters, he became more based off the subway bosses, but, like, in his initial iteration, he was definitely just like Aeon in this game, so I'm going through literally, as a person that sucks at fighting games, I'm going through every story mode just so I can play as Aeon. Which I will at the end of the night on my other story mode. But I want to complete the game all over again, because I want to go through his story mode, and you can only go through, like, you know, the story mode on the easy difficulty the first time. On the second time, it's on the hard difficulty, and I think that would just be difficult. So, if I want to play through his story again, I have to do it on, like, I'm doing it on a new file. Okay, if you could stop dodging through my attacks, I really appreciate it. I don't know if I'm getting closer or farther, honestly, with these wins here. Glad we get to see the view of her, like, zippered up boobs every single time, though. That's very attractive. Do love her. I'm not saying anything bad about her outfit, by the way. Like, she's literally supposed to be a dominatrix. Like, you know, she's the most famous vampire besides Dracula. Like, I think she definitely deserves an outfit like this. It's definitely very fitting of her character. I don't mind if you have, like, the skimpy or sexy outfits, as long as it makes sense for the character. The reason I, like, got bothered by it so much in games like Fire Emblem Heroes is that they would have it on characters who would not be the types to show off their chests in the first place. Like, I remember they have, like, me and Melanie brought this up when we were playing Fire Emblem Warriors, but, like, they have someone who's, like, supposed to be a native of the plains, who's a sword woman, with Lynn from Fire Emblem, and she, for some reason, has, like, really large boobs, and you're like, why? She's supposed to be, like, again, someone who lives as a nomad on the plains, who, not only that, is a very muscular swordswoman. When you're very muscular, you don't tend to have a lot of fat on your body, and that's where you get your chest from when you're a girl. So I like the fact that they had her with, like, really abnormally sized, like, boobs. You're like, why? That just looks strange when she's someone who's supposed to be all about movement and speed, and she's also, like, kind of a tough person, too. Like, she's not very feminine, so it's kind of like, when it makes sense for them to be, like, more on the, like, sexy side, sure, that's fine. If you're... Okay, Carmilla, can you give me, like, 5 seconds here, lady? Like, she just cannot... She's just fast, and I cannot get through her combos. This is gonna be one of... This is... I feel like there's gonna... We were lucky to get through Eric's story with relative ease, but... Her, like, dragging and snatching attacks are really starting to get annoying. Of course, she dodged right outside of that. It's okay, I didn't need to hit with that attack anyway. Yeah. Let's do this again. Hope no one else is getting sick of this. But then again, I did put in the chat, you know, come watch me be bad at fighting games, so you knew what you were getting into. Okay, did I really hit the zombie instead of her? I'm really getting annoyed with those zombies. And I killed the zombies as well.
You say me can be human. Me want to believe.
I think it'd be boring if it was easy and you blazed through it. Yeah, that's fair. I'm definitely not blazing through it. That wasn't even the final fight. That's just the one I got stuck on because of the stupid stage hazards.
Servant of Dracula, meet your doom. Ready? Fight!
I also do not know what the range on his ultimate is. I'm not sure how far out it reaches. Like, different characters have different ultimates. And I've, like, you know, I try to use them. It's just so hard to get in the right range because not all of them have the same range on them. Like, I was able to get some of them in the beginning, but some of them have just such a weird range on them that they're, like, I can't quite figure them out. Not to mention, like, his guard break skill is very slow. Like, it's very easy to not hit with it. You really hit me with an axe right there, bro. Okay, got him. His attacks hit hard and they're really hard to break when they actually go off. The problem is just going off. They have a big wind-up. Now who am I fighting?
Me not made to lose.
Foul creature of darkness, your end is nigh.
Apparently she's actually, I was using her completely wrong when I was fighting with her earlier. I realized that after, like, watching a video on how to play her, I'm like, oh, that's why I was struggling with her so much. Her basic attack is actually, like, her worst attack, and that's the one I was using the most of. Again, it would have been nice to know what I was, how to do the charge attacks, because I just did not realize how I was supposed to use the charge attacks. Yeah, we're gonna struggle with this guy. See, if I can get my attacks off, they're very powerful.
Next to the forces of nature.
Yeah, let's try this again.
Ready? Fight!
Okay, sorry I'm not talking as much. I'm just trying to focus on beating these guys with this guy. This guy's not very easy. Alright, is that the last one yet? I think I have one more boss.
Death God, me can be human.
So, you become self-aware. That would depend on your definition of human.
What make human human? Me want to know.
The capacity to ponder your existence. That is the essence of the human soul.
Me think. So, me human.
You were not made to think. You were made only to serve.
I mean, come on, look at Death's design. He looks totally cool.
Ready? Fight!
I hate this stage because it has so many hazards. Okay, that combo came out of nowhere. I was doing well for a minute there. I mean, come on, this guy looks awesome. Also, because everyone does the typical death in a cloak with, you know, skeleton face, I like how this guy looks. He looks cool. Again, you know, reminder that, like, the designs in this game were done by the artist who does Death Note. You know, like, it's pretty obvious, especially when you look at Simon, looks apparently a lot like the protagonist in Death Note, but, like, I love the art style of this game. It just got vibes that you don't find in a lot of games anymore. It feels almost like unashamed to be what it is, and it's kind of sad that not many people could appreciate it for what it is. Which is kind of the same thing that happened to Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Not saying this is an amazing game or something, but like, it is kind. Okay, you had no HP left. That was a cheap win, dude. But it's like, you know, I think if you are someone who doesn't like necessarily like have like any like for Castlevania games or stuff like that, and you just want something that's like kind of fun and mindless and edgy and goth and stuff like that, and has some great music in it, like, haha, you got hit by the axe. Then I think this is a fun game. There's a lot of people who like enjoy this game. I've found them on Reddit. You know, they're a small group, but it's definitely a niche game for that reason. Like, I think that not every game needs to appeal to the same audience, you know. Okay, let me hit you, because you're, like, practically dead. Thank you. I think that's the end of his story mode.
I accept the soul key. 6 yet remain.
6 more. I'm doing this all for you, bro. That's the character I'm trying to unlock, but you only unlock him when you get all the other story modes done. So who do we have next? Carmilla, I think. Yeah, why not? Let's see what we're doing right now. Yeah, why not? Let's do Carmilla's as long as we're on it. Nah, that just makes her look like somebody from, like, Mortal Kombat or something. Let's go with the red and black. That's more iconic.
Time to have some fun.
Like, is her outfit over the top? Yes, but she's also, like, a vampire seductress. What else do you expect her to look like in this type of game? It's also a fighting game. Costumes never make sense in a fighting game. I was like how many of these villains woke up being like, hey, we're ready to pillage. Wait, why the heck are we here? And why is there this random white guy here talking to us?
Right on time. Welcome to the Time Rift.
A rift in time? Do tell.
This is where you'll find what you desire. But first, there are many trials you must pass.
Why not? You'll let me have my fun now, won't you?
My name is Aeon. Shall we begin the first trial?
Okay, let's see what you got to do. I know she's like a faster character that has like a lot of grab abilities. Okay, that's a nice one. Let's see what your fast attack is. Okay, yeah, she has a lot of air juggles. I do know that. Okay, I was like, how do I do the grabby chain thing? I've definitely been hit on the wrong side of that before. Yeah, she has a lot of air attacks. There's the... I was trying to get her guard breaker one.
I'm over here.
Okay, well, guard break's not gonna work if you dodge out of the way of it. I'm just glad he doesn't use his special in these introductory stages, because that's a pain. Oh, come on. You know how to play him correctly, Aeon can be like the second strongest character in the game, probably like right behind Shinoa, just because he has a very varied moveset, and he's the only one that has like a charge attack that builds over time, because time-themed character. So he's a lot harder when you face him the second time, but... And the first time I struggle sometimes, because it's hard to get around his guard. And we're starting with the stage, great, love that. Yeah, like how did the clothes stay in place while doing all this crazy attacks? That's what I'm saying, I'm like, the fact that people are complaining about the art style in a fighting game, I'm like, it's a fighting game. Have you seen things like Street Fighter? Since when did we ever question when the outfits make sense? Also, again, this is like a Wii game, like a 2000s Wii game, like, it was a different time back then. This is the time when we had like things like Sonic and the Black Knight and stuff, you know? It's a different time. Come on. Trying to get him in close, then I can do that spin attack. I'm just not lining it up right. There we go. The good news about it is that I'm facing this stage early, so they don't have like all the hazards on right now, which is nice. This stage is way more manageable when it doesn't have all the hazards on. Okay, who next? Nice music. Love all harpsichord like features going on here. Like, I guess I can get it if you're, like, someone who's a fan of, like, these characters and what they, like, represent in their original game. But at the same time, I'm also, like, it's also a fighting game. Who comes to a fighting game for the story? I play Fire Emblem Warriors, not, like, I enjoy the story for what it is, but I definitely didn't go into that game thinking, like, I want a complex JRPG-level story. I'm like, no, I'm enjoying playing the characters in a 3D space. So, but then again, I don't know what kind of fandom Castlevania was. Like, maybe they were snobs. Fandoms tend to be worse the bigger they get. It's definitely something that I have seen proven with Fire Emblem, and most certainly with Pokemon. But, like, a game is usually at its healthiest when it's niche. Or when it's on the back foot, like the Sonic fandom. Honestly, the Sonic fandom's pretty good because they've been the laughingstock on the internet for a long time. So they kind of are, like, don't care anymore. Like, we're like the oldest fandom that exists. Like, what do we care if you guys call us weird? Like, is the Sonic fandom weird? Yes, the Sonic fandom is very weird. But like, also at the same time, like, because they are the laughingstock of the internet half the time, they're also like, yeah, we just kind of exist in our own little space, and we're big enough to have, like, multiple sections. It's also kind of like the Pokemon fandom. They have, like...
If it isn't Lord Dracula's boy.
Oh, Alucard.
Carmilla, is it?
How long will you antagonize your lord and father?
You already know the answer. I won't stop until you're all destroyed.
Self-righteous as ever. Well, I've had it with you. Prepare yourself.
Ready? Fight!
We're in this stage again. Love that. Come on. There we go. Also, I do think that for what they are, even, like, one thing I can definitely get up behind is someone, like, complained about with this game is that it doesn't have a huge roster, nor does it have a lot of stages, which, yeah, I can get that, but also also in the same vein, I don't know what's normal for a fighting game, because my, like, fighting game experience is, like, Smash Bros. Like, that famously has a huge roster. So I don't know what's normal for fighting games, like, you know, like a Street Fighter game or something like that. Is it normal to have fighting games, like, have, like, a cast of 20 or something? Like, I think there's 16 fighters in total in this one. Either that, or 16 or 12. I have to look on the main screen, but, like, I think there's, like, 13 fighters in this game. I don't know if that's... Yeah, you are pretty cool, dude. I'll give you that. Love a good cape, like, flow right there. That's why you have capes, because they look cool. I always like the capes only when he's done fighting, because it would get in his way otherwise. Like, love that. A practical man. Also, I like the fact that when you look at it, some of his attacks are like Dracula's. In fact, like, some of his taunts even sound like Dracula's. Like, so even if you aren't familiar with the characters, you can be like, oh yeah, these characters related to each other. Because they bear some similarities to each other. I did hear people say that they were a little disappointed that he was, like, you know, mostly just sword magic person when he has a lot more abilities. I'm like, yeah, but then again, that's like trying to give Dracula 1001 abilities. It's like, when you're looking at someone who's like a boss, like, there's so much they could have do. Like, Alucard has so many abilities, I'm like, you just can't fit all of them into a character. And he's really the only one that makes sense to be a magic sword person. Like, they don't have anyone else who really fits the archetype. So, does he get kind of typecast into that? And could he have had more like a moveset that could have had more, like, more transformations? Yeah, but, you know, I don't really mind if they didn't. Would it have been cool to see him turn into a wolf at some point? Yes, but, he didn't, and yeah, that's too bad, but it is what it is. You love that she stabs people with her, like, literal spike heels. I mean, honestly, that's something I always thought was cool about, like, Bayonetta's designs, is when they actually put, like, the weapons in the high heels. I'm like, yes, if I was an action hero that wore high heels, I would definitely put weapons in my high heels. I'm not someone who possesses the ability to wear high heels, as I just do not walk naturally in them, and I try and avoid them whenever possible. But, like, if I was someone who liked high heels, I would definitely have weapons in my high heels. Be it knives or guns or whatever, that's another game I need to play at some point, is Bayonetta. I've always wanted to play it. Just never had the time to. That's another character that I think definitely hits the word you're like, yeah, that's like a sexily designed character, and it's done with, like, so much respect, because it's all about, like, you know, power through femininity. So, too, lately now you have, like, these characters that are trying to be, like, girl bosses, they're trying to be strong, empowered women, but they're, like, being strong with masculine qualities. I really think it's cool when you have a strong woman that's, like, strong through feminine qualities, because lately that's just been a rarity. Like, you have too many people that are, like, they have to be strong on their own, or they're strong, like, literally, like, physically, like, strong with masculine, in a masculine way, like, through muscles, or through winning fights, or through being brave, and I'm like, you know, sometimes I like a good female that's strong for feminine reasons. And not saying you gotta have, like, a dominatrix sort of character, but I'm like, you know, sometimes it's nice to have a character, like, that's strong, but also beautiful and very, like, in touch with themselves. Like, that's the reason I always, granted she was always poorly represented in pretty much anything that wasn't her base game, but that's why I always, like, liked Camilla from Fire Emblem Fates, is because, like, I like the fact that, like, she was a character that is very much sits into that kind of, like, okay, if you could stop hitting me with that random pillar, that'd be nice. That thing is just so hard to dodge, depending on which field it ends up on, because that thing has so much swing. But that's why I always liked a character like Camilla, just because, like, I like the fact that she is a character that looks like the typical, like, very, like, you know, she's, like, a dark magic user who rides, like, an undead dragon, so, you know, like, could definitely be the kind that can be, like, the kind of seductress sort of femme fatale sort of character, but really she's not interested in that. Like, she's busy protecting her family, and that's really all that matters to her. She's essentially acting as a mom for her sibling because they don't have moms, and she has a lot of mom trauma. And, I mean, the whole family has a lot of trauma, but hers is largely mom-related. And so, like, she's trying to protect her family and act as a mom for them. Kind of the same way Xander's trying to act as a dad for them because they have a very dysfunctional family. But, like, I always like the fact that, like, again, she's not as good in other games because they kind of flanderize her. Same thing happens to Tharja, unfortunately. But, happens to a lot of, unfortunately, the kind of dark, women characters in Fire Emblem games nowadays, but... Okay. That thing is just so hard to dodge underneath. Like, this guy turns way too fast for how big he is. Okay, got him that time. But, I always liked Camilla just because the fact that, like, you know, first of all, she's a strong character, but also just she's a character that, like, was not, who, like, looks like that, but even when you look at her original artwork, like, she's shown in very, like, kind of provocative poses now, but you look, oh. Of course we got Face Shinoa.
Oh, that energy. I taste the dark flavors of the night.
That's no concern of yours. This power is your bane. It will destroy you and Dracula both.
The power of the night belongs to us, child. It is not for humans to trifle with.
Of course I'm gonna have to face Shinoa. And of course it would be in this stage. Even better. Have I made it clear enough yet that I really don't like facing this character? She's pretty. I love her outfit, and I love her, like, attacks look cool. I even read a cool fanfic with her once, because, like, the one Castlevania, like, fanfic that exists has her and Aeon in it. Like, literally, there's, like, 5 fics that exist for Castlevania Judgment. I know, I've looked. Because, again, I wanted to see if they had my boy in them. But, unfortunately, there's, like, one, literally. And that's... So, and it had Shinoa in it. I thought her, like, the way she was written in that story was pretty cool. So, like, I'm not against her as a character. I think she's cool. I think she has an interesting design. I just kind of am annoyed with her, as... Come on, you're practically dead. Like, you better not kill me while you literally have no HP left.
Can no one satisfy me?
Honestly, I like the fact that she has, like, torture devices engineered into her outfit. It's pretty cool.
I wonder how your blood will taste.
Who are we facing now?
Ugly freak. Good thing my blades don't discriminate.
Apparently that guy's the one who got the most drastic, like, character change from what he originally looks like. He just looks like your kind of, like, typical rogue or pirate. And then he, like, looks like this. I'm like, honestly, though, I think his design's kind of cool. Is it definitely a drag departure from the original character? Yes, I can acknowledge that. But I'm like, I honestly think he's kind of cool. Not to mention, he sounds like Hades from the Hercules movie. Okay. Yeah, and he's honestly the only one that I could have trouble with this character, because he's the other fastest character besides Carmilla. Like, his whole thing is long range. Her whole thing is obviously air juggles. So, like, he's the one character that can, like, sort of match her speed, so... I just have to... He's the one who I might struggle with here a little bit. Gotcha.
Yes, my pet. I love playing with my food before dinner. Any who dare oppose Lord Dracula earn my wrath.
I will show you the might of House Belmont.
I don't know if you're the final fight or is the one after this is the final fight. It's probably the one after this. Oh yeah, this is the one with the lasers that come out of the ceiling though. That's always a fun one. Mainly because it just makes like the sound kind of crap out on this game sometimes with that laser in the background. Just because, you know, again, old Wii game. It's kind of a pity though, this game's stuck on the Wii. Like, how many games are out there are like stuck on the DS or stuck on the Wii or stuck on the GameCube, you know, because they haven't been ported anywhere else? Like, it's a pity. So, like, apparently that guy I'm facing right now, this guy Simon, looks a lot like the protagonist in Death Note. I don't really know a lot about Death Note. I know Malin watched it at some point, so it has, like, an Apple Store theme in the anime's cutscene, but... anime's opening, but I don't really know a whole lot about it. I know, like, characters from it, but, like, again, about as much as I have, like, osmosis knowledge from, like, you know, being on the internet. Enough to make maybe light conversation with. But definitely not enough to, like, you know, be like, I know what this thing is. I swear if you hit me out of the ring. Come on. I do love that grab attack. That one's fun. I just can't get in too close to him because otherwise he, like, hits me. But then he could also just throw an axe in my face. Be cool to get a remaster of this game. Yeah, I actually saw one of the cutscenes in, like, you know, the, like, the 1080p. Looked 10 times better. This game will never get a remaster because it is just so old, and again, still a lot of Castlevania fandom, kind of in the group think that fandoms tend to come across, think this game is horrible, and like, it's inoffensive. Like, how some people even say like this was the thing that led to Castlevania's downfall. I'm like, no. The fandom hating this game led to Castlevania's downfall. Like, this game is not bad though. Like, it may not be like game breaking, and it's definitely not like a genre defining game, but I'm like, a game that functionally does what it came to do. I'm like, it's a fighting game. It's a rather basic fighting game, but I'm like, that works for me because I'm not good at them. So, like, you know, it's a spin-off, not to mention. Like, it was something to hold people over while they worked on the next game. Like, this was never meant to be, like, the future of Castlevania. It's a spin-off. So the fact that people could attribute, like, okay, the reason that the Castlevania series went into decline was because of this game. This is a spin-off game. The reason the series goes into decline is because of its mainline games. I mean, just look at Pokemon for that. Pokemon's had a great history of spin-off games. But yeah, it has definitely gone through its ups and downs of the mainline games. And that's what determines whether the thing is doing good or not. Again, the statue with the laser could do without. Okay, if you would stop throwing the little holy cross thing, that'd be great. Yeah, I try to stay far away from him and then yank him in. But if I get too close to him, he keeps hitting me with that one attack, and it's a pain in the butt. Then he also just throws crosses at me, which is arguably just as annoying. If you could stop throwing knives at me, that'd be great. Okay, now that's just rude.
That is the power of a
To be fair, the power of the Belmont was throwing knives at my face for the majority of that fight. Come on, bringing out the Iron Maiden? Like, come on, ancient torture devices. Crossover is being huge right now. I wouldn't surprise you if they made a sequel or remake with an updated roster. That they would make the designs resemble. Yeah, that would be fine. If they had to lose the art style in order to do a sequel to this game, I'd be okay with it.
A vampire. Still hoping I'll join your lot.
This guy's design is just awesome.
Lord Dracula has need of you, but I most certainly do not.
Then state your business.
Impudent cur. You're no true child of the night. Maggots will feast on your hide.
Ready?
So I guess they're from the same game? You said he was from the 64 game, so that makes sense. Carmilla, to be fair, is a recurring villain, so it's not usually in this form. I got people like, they include Carmilla for some reason, even though she's just like a moon mini-boss. I'm like, yeah, because Carmilla is like an incredibly, like, famous vampire. You know your gothic lore, come on. Like, if you're gonna study vampire fiction, you gotta read her. Pretty interesting book, too. Just because vampires have a lot of similarities to, like, you know, haunting stories, just because it's all about, like, slowly changing happening until you see, like, the monster in the last 10 minutes. There you go. Okay, so I broke his guard, and then he guarded again. I'm like, that's not fair. He does have a cool dodge, so I'll give him that. Gotcha.
That's more like it. You will learn your place as a child of the night.
Nice. Yeah, I would be down for if this game ever got like a sequel and they put in different characters. I wouldn't even care if they changed the art style. As long as they brought Aeon back, I wouldn't really care who the heck they put in this game.
The Soul Key. 5 yet remain.
Because if they tried to remake this game and they didn't bring Aeon back, then I would hate it for that reason alone. But if they brought this game back and they had a different roster, they had a different art style, they had, you know, different everything, would not care. So long as they still had Aeon in this game. Let him be in any game that's not stuck on the Wii. As much as I love digging out the Wii and fighting an HDMI converter cable. Anyways, we did just unlock Cornell. But I've done 3 story modes for tonight. I think that's all I'm going to do for tonight. Because I think that's pretty good progress. Because then I think he'll be a good one to start it up on next time. I'll see if I can get another stream in this week, because I think I'm getting pretty close. I think I have him. Who else am I missing? I have him. I know I'm missing Shinoa, because she's one that's like a download character. I'll have to see if I can get my DS out for that. I know I'm missing Dracula. He's over here next to Golem. Who else am I? And I'm missing Trevor. Got Cornell, Trevor. Shinoa's the one next to Eric, I'm pretty sure. I'm missing Dracula, and then Aeon's the last one. So yeah, although it's funny, I was talking about before, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, like, you know, a game like this would not get made today just because, like, companies are so much more protective of their IPs and they're so much more afraid to do things that are risky. And you know who's done that to companies? I mean, one, companies are too concerned with the bottom line these days, but you know who's done that is, like, gamers. Some fandoms just get, like, too much power through Twitter or YouTube or whatever, and, like, a bad review can sink a game, even if it's a finely made game, or it's a decent made game. Like, people, I think back to Balan Wonderworld, which is honestly, like, it's not anything that's redesigning the platformer genre, but its heart is in the right place. It has beautiful cutscenes, great music. It's a perfectly functional puzzle platformer. Definitely more on the side for kids than it is for adults, but man, people rake that thing to the mud like it was the new Sonic 06, and it is not. Not by a long shot. That's a game even I would like to play on here again someday. But, like, you know, definitely we need more crossovers. We need more, like, games allowed to be okay. Like, people who buy games and then just enjoy them for a simple experience. Especially because I have too many games these days that take, like, hours upon hours to finish. So sometimes it's nice to do a game like this, which is just, like, simple, kind of, turn your mind off, enjoy the aesthetic of it. I mean, come on. Look how, like, creepy and gothic this game is. Like, you could only do this in a fighter game. You could not do this in any other genre in game, because fighter games are at their nature ridiculous. I think the only thing that's as ridiculous as fighting games is, like, rhythm games, where you can literally, like, get away with anything because they're a ridiculous genre on their face. Or, like, even games that are like Ace Attorney, that are, like, the mock trial genre, but I'm like, they're ridiculous by nature. If there's anywhere you were going to do something that is this gothic and this edgy, it had to be a fighting game. And also Castlevania can do that too, because they're very gothic too. So anyway, that's where we're going to pretty much, end for right now, because, yeah, we've been streaming for about 2 hours, so I think that's pretty good for me. But thanks for anyone who stopped by, who went and, like, chatted with me. I'll see about trying to stream again soon. Maybe I'll even stream tomorrow morning, doing, like, a crochet stream or something like that, but, probably not Thursday. I got a lot going on Thursday. So maybe Wednesday or maybe Friday. It's gonna depend on my energy levels, honestly, though. But, thanks for stopping by, thanks for listening, lurking, whatever you were doing today. Hope you're enjoying me playing this game, or at the very least watching me struggle to be good at a fighting game at all. Grind continues as I'm waiting to get my Time Watcher guy. So, yeah. Have a good night, everyone, and, I'll see you next time. Thanks, Sixy, for stopping by. I always enjoy hearing you chatting and getting, your opinions on games and stuff. Yeah, you too, bro. See ya some other day this week, maybe.